Now joined by former Obama acting U.S. Solicitor General Neil Katyal. Good to see you again. We've been tracking some of these developments, including how the Bannon case affects other potential witnesses who may face potential contempt. Your thoughts on all the above?
Yeah, so the Justice Department today, those prosecutors called Steve Bannon's filing frivolous. So Bannon claimed that he wanted to make certain documents public, and the Justice Department wasn't letting him. And the Justice Department's response today was to call it frivolous and basically say, oh, no, you didn't. They point out that Bannon never even asked the Justice Department to try and make these documents public. And so this dispute is not going to go well for Bannon. Judges, as Ari, you know, they don't like it when parties can't work out stuff among themselves and they run into court. And that's particularly true here, given Bannon's specific claim. I mean, he's basically saying, he's complaining that he can't publicly discuss the contents of certain documents. And I have a very easy suggestion for him if he's worried about that and he wants to be public, testify. This guy's afraid to go and tell the truth about what happened under oath. And that's what all of these legal skirmishes are about. And that's the part that's frivolous. So I think he's going to lose these claims, and I think it's going to embolden the House investigators.
Yeah, I mean, legally, the only question for Bannon is whether he has any right to defy. He hasn't provided any great legal argument there. When you get to the logic of it, you point out another just big hole here, which is, you know, this isn't exactly Justice Souter hiding out in a cabin because he doesn't like press. This is someone who's hosting his own media channel every day, sounding off, which, by the way, is his First Amendment right. Have at it. But then not participating with a lawful probe. When you look at the other DOJ official I mentioned who may have played a significant role, certainly worth investigating, but is not the same household name as Bannon, does that case also matter? And what do you make of his claim, a veteran of the same vaunted department you worked in, that what he was doing within DOJ might have afforded him presidential executive privilege?
I think it's huge. And yes, Americans don't right now know the name of Jeffrey Clark, but I think they soon will. It looks like the evidence suggests that Mr. Clark, used his Justice Department position to try and launch a coup. And he angled to even replace the acting attorney general. Clark was a relatively low-level person, but he tried to angle with Trump to replace and run the Justice Department. And indeed, so much so that it's said that the entire senior leadership of the Justice Department threatened en masse to resign because of Clark and what he was trying to do and trying to steal the election. And so when you look at like Madison and Federalist Paper 51, when he talks about how men aren't angels and ambition is needed to counteract ambition, there's a picture of Jeff Clark there. I mean, this is someone who's really got to go and tell the truth about what happened because his role looks really, really serious and certainly not something protected by executive privilege.
And then there's the structural questions. Do you see anything coming out from all this that suggests there should be some more concrete reform so that the DOJ is not as contactable, persuadable, et cetera, from a would-be tyrant who wants to use it for what you called an attempted coup?
Well, there is a structural set of rules. And indeed, you know, one of my first jobs at the Justice Department was to draft those rules. And they require basically only the Deputy Attorney General or the Attorney General to communicate with the White House on any serious matter. And obviously that was blown apart by the Trump administration. But as I understand it, Merrick Garland has resumed that contacts policy. So I think that's necessary. But more generally, Ari, you know, you look investigation after investigation, they've taken so long. We're almost a year after January 6th. We've also got the New York investigations going on into Trump and his inflation of assets. You've got Georgia and so on. I mean, I feel like I need a spreadsheet just to keep track of which office is doing what investigation over Donald Trump's misconduct. I mean, it's getting harder to keep up with than Pete Davidson dating rumors at this point. But I think that, you know, taken together, we see law enforcement trying to have a response, but it wasn't really geared for someone like Trump who would just stymie at every turn, say no, refuse to tell the truth, and order his hench people to refuse to tell the truth under oath as well.
Neil Katyal, if we had more time, we would try to find out if you have a spreadsheet that also tracks Pete Davidson's life, because we didn't know. Neil Katyal keeps track of all these things. but we're out of time, so we'll make that for next time. And let me remind everyone, in addition to thanking Neil, you can always go to msnbc.com/opening arguments. That's Neil's special legal segment where we post these updates and primers, some of them definitely worth taking in again if you're interested.